settling into the meditation posture. Being aware of what it feels like to be sitting right here. We can begin by experiencing the ground. The solidity of the earth beneath us. Whether the sensation is at the buttocks, the thighs, or the feet. This ground is this ground is the source of firmness in our establishing the body and mind. And then rising up from that ground, we can sense the spine. Take a moment to check whether you're leaning forward or back, tilted to one side. The upright posture of the spine gives the meditation energy. We can allow the spine to extend to its full upright length. As if the top of the head was being lifted up by a fine string. And then we can allow all the other musculature of the body to relax around that central axis. There's no need to hold any tension in the body beyond that which keeps the spine upright. Imagine the tension just flowing downwards through the body and out the feet. Inviting tension and agitation to naturally drain away. And we're left with the experience of the upright body and simultaneously the relaxed body. One can imagine a fine cloth draped over a solid pillar. And as we come into the experience of the body, we might notice the sensations associated with in and out breathing. The expansion and contraction of the belly, the rise and fall of the chest, the flow of air through the throat, sensations of touch and temperature at the nose. Mindfulness of breathing means maintaining the perception of the breath in mind, deciding that for the time being, that's where our attention will go. We can choose one area of the body to focus on. Perhaps the belly, or the other areas I've mentioned. Wherever the breath feels pleasant, comfortable, and relaxed. In addition to the physical sensations corresponding to the parts of the body that move in the process of breathing, there's also an energetic component to breathing. When we breathe in, the entire body-mind system enlivens, energizes, lifts up, brightens. And when we breathe out, the entire system of body and mind settles, soothes, calms, sinks. And this too is included within the field of mindfulness of breathing. We can learn to keep both of these in mind, the physical sensations and the energetic experience. They're synchronized. And harmonious. Can also be useful to take stock of the state of the mind. If the mind is sluggish or dull, it can be useful to pay more attention to the enlivening quality of the in-breath. If the mind is agitated or scattered, more attention to the settling quality of the out-breath. And we can practice like this for the next 10 minutes. If the mind has wandered, we reestablish it in the perception of breathing in and breathing out. The mind settles not so much from the effort that we apply to keep the mind with the breath, but instead due to a development of ease and enjoyment with the process of breathing. So we can investigate how can we pay attention so that the breath becomes pleasing, interesting, a place where the mind wants to stay. We can pay attention to both the physical qualities of the breath, whether it's long or short, fast or slow, warm or cool, coarse or refined, and the energetic experience of the breath. Letting the mind absorb into the experience of energizing with the in-breath and settling on the out-breath. If we can sustain attention, the heart will be drawn to this rhythmic experience. So we can practice like this for another 5 minutes. So again, if the mind has wandered, returning it to the experience of in and out breathing. As we practice meditation, we can observe the effect of conceiving of a place or a state we're trying to get. I'm breathing in and out. I'll pay attention to breathing in and breathing out, because if I do, then in the future I'll get something good. And that statement is not necessarily false, but as an attitude, one can sense it places the importance somewhere other than here. The breath has become an object or a tool, and I've become a person who needs to get something out of this breath. And these are all questionable assumptions. In a way, natural enough. But this kind of conditioning does not conduce to awakening. It leaves us stuck in the world of objects and subjects and objectification. And at the same time, it also doesn't work to just say, well, I'm not going to put effort into paying attention to the breath at all. I've seen that doesn't work, so I'll just do something else. Whatever that is. We get frustrated and move away. In either case, we miss the opportunity to pay attention to the experience of breathing here and now. And in both of those cases, we're following the mind and our habitual tendencies. We tend to overlook the intelligence of the body and the intelligence of emotion. Not quite the right word. But yeah, this experience of embodiment, if we pay attention, has a great deal of intuitive intelligence, intuitive awareness. And this can be the pathway out of the conundrum of objectification. Learning how to set aside concepts about who or what is breathing, and and who or what is trying to accomplish something by breathing. What's it like, right here, right now, setting those concepts aside? If we enjoy the breath, we don't need concepts in order to keep the mind firmly established. So we can practice like this for the next 10 minutes. as we practice maintaining awareness of the energetic experience of in and out breathing, the goal is not to completely eliminate the experience of the thinking mind, but rather to do something that's more useful, which is, instead of using the mind, the thinking mind, to conceptualize about the experience of breathing, instead, we can evaluate the effects of conceptual thinking on the experience of breathing. This allows us to steer the thinking process with wisdom, instead of letting the thinking process carry us wherever our ideas happen to go, which could be pretty much anywhere in the world. We can observe when a thought of goodwill arises, what does that feel like in the body? How does that affect the breathing? If the thought is laced with ill will, what's that like? Most typically, the first is comfortable, the second is uncomfortable. And if our attention is firmly settled with the breathing, we don't even need to think, oh, I should drop thoughts of ill will. It's like, oh, unpleasant, okay, put it aside. Just that simple. And the thought doesn't even need to arise. The mind doesn't want to go there because it's not pleasant and it's not good for us. And this is something we can learn to trust. When the mind is firmly settled with the breathing, thoughts laced with sensuality, ill will, harming, complication, setting up ideas about self and other, these all feel uncomfortable. And we can set them down. And go back to this refuge. And we don't need to define who it is that experiences this, or what it means. No need to proliferate the unproliferated. And so, as we near the end of the meditation session, just returning awareness to the sensation of in and out breathing, just in its simplicity. And it can be helpful to investigate whatever experiences we had in meditation, what was the effect on the experience of body and mind? If it's been positive, this is something we want to cherish, to use to develop faith, and to keep investigating. And one can also recognize the purifying effect of this practice. After paying some careful attention to the breath, the mind is less inclined to proliferation. More happy just to be right in the present, not seeking for some refuge outside. We can close with the reflection on universal well-being in English on page 41. May I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all beings be released from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained. When they act upon intention, all beings are the owners of their action and inherit its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such action, and its results will be their home. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts, they will be the heir.